We're going to go to Minneapolis. Well, actually, excuse me, not Minneapolis, Minnesota. Shouldn't just say the city, right? Should say the state. And this is shared by MnGirl1981. MnGirl1981. MN Girl, I'd imagine that means you live in Minnesota, which, by the way, we'll be seeing you in October. We're coming back to Minneapolis in October. Hope to see you then. But in the meantime, let's take a look at what's going on, because there is a water protector protest going on in Minnesota. Water protectors blockade Enbridge Line 3 tar sands pipeline. That's a clunky headline. This is from the Democracy Now! Water protectors blockade Enbridge Line 3 tar sands pipeline. So in Minnesota, at least 30 water protectors blockaded the entrance of the Enbridge Line 3 pipeline Monday morning. The proposed controversial pipeline would carry tar sands oil from Alberta, Canada, to a terminal in Superior, Wisconsin. Its path would cut through Minnesota, where Indigenous communities have been fighting its construction, saying the pipeline would violate tribal sovereignty and contaminate the land and water. I wonder where they would get that idea. Why would they think that? Why? Keystone XL is going great, right? Isn't it totally safe and everybody's fine? And the pipeline brought a bunch of jobs and now everybody's happy? Didn't that happen with Keystone XL? Oh no, it leaked again. Keystone XL has leaked already. DAPL has leaked. And these companies, these oil and gas companies, if you really read between the lines, because the reports are out there, they have to report on this stuff, you are going to see droves of environmental environmental infractions. You know, they had, when I did a media ecology study in grad school, which is absolutely as nerdy as it sounds, I did a media ecology study on fracking in the community of Western Pennsylvania, because that's where I was doing my master's degree, and there's a lot of fracking that goes on in that area. And I found out that there were over 2,800 environmental violations committed in a year by the oil and gas companies. You don't hear about them, though. Unless it's some huge spill, you don't hear about it. And even when that does happen, they deflect the blame. They blame a third-party contractor. That's what these companies do. 2,800 violations. And barely any of them get reported on. If that's going on with smaller pipelines in the Western Pennsylvania area, what do you think's happening with DAPL, with Keystone XL, a huge pipeline, where 20% of the country's water is in danger? It goes past aquifers that supply about 20% of the nation's water. And it's leaking. It's had another spill. And that's just what we're hearing about on the surface. And we're hearing about it on the surface barely. The corporate media barely talked about the Keystone XL pipeline leaking. In fact, I'm not sure if it's talking about it at all, but it happened recently. And now you have another, for instance, of people going out protesting, indigenous people protesting for the land that's rightfully theirs. And in Wisconsin, right near Minnesota, they now made that a penalty. That's a felony now, excuse me. It's a felony now if you protest on land that is rightfully yours if a pipeline's there, because they determine that pipeline, now all that land and all that pipeline and all that property, that's property of the oil and gas companies, baby. It doesn't matter that it was indigenous land for years and years and years. That it was indigenous land that, by the way, was stolen in the first place. Hey, Thanksgiving's coming up. It's land that was stolen in the first place. So you stole it in the first place, gave it back, and then stole it again to exploit the resources. USA, baby. USA. So best wishes to those water protectors. I wish them all the best. I know that it's not warm in Minnesota right now. I feel bad complaining about the cold, knowing that there are water protectors out there in Minnesota doing the work on the ground. So we'll see how this unfolds. Usually the oil and gas companies get their way, but we'll see how this unfolds. You know, you got to try, you got to fight back. All right. Thank you for sharing that, MnGirl1981.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your